Okay, now section B, questions. Oh, sorry. So, okay, 10 students surveyed, X pounds the internet. Okay, so we need to recognize what this here means. This means the sum of X, in other words, the sum of the number of hours between 1 and 10. So that's for all 10 students is 252. So if we want the mean, it's going to be that 252 divided by 10. Which is 25.2. Didn't even need the calc. During week 2, the students went on a major project and they spent an additional 5 hours browsing the internet. Write down the mean. So if we spent an additional 5 hours for each student, then obviously the mean is going to increase by 5 for everyone. Sorry, it's going to increase by 5. So it's going to be 30.2. And the standard deviation. If everybody is increasing by 5, then the standard deviation is not going to change. It's just going to stay as 5. During week 3, each student spent 5% less time browsing than week 1. Find the median. So if it's 5% less, then we're going to multiply the median by 0.95. Um, 25.65. The variance. The variance is the standard deviation squared. So we're spending 5% less time. It's going to be 0.95 squared multiplied by the standard deviation squared. So which gives us 22.5625. 22.5625. So because we're talking about spending 5% less time, then our standard deviation doesn't change. Our variance is going to be whatever that is squared, but the variance is going to be reduced by 5%. So hopefully you understand that. I'm rubbish at explaining that. Sorry. Come and see me if you need me to go through it again. Right. D, during week 4, a survey was extended to all 200 students in the school. Find the number of students who spent, oh, here we go. Here's our thingy. Between 25 hours and 30 hours, so 25 hours is here, so it's at 80. And what was it? 35 hours, what was it? 30 hours, sorry. 30 hours is 150. So it's 150, take away 80, which is 70 students. Given that 10% of students spend more than K hours browsing on the internet, find the maximum of that. So 10% of students spend more than K hours browsing on the internet. So 10% of 200 is 20 students. And they need to spend more than X amount of hours. 10% spend more. Okay, so 20 students will be at 180. So we're looking at this here, which is 35, because 10% of the students, so another 20 of the students, these 20 students, spent more than 35 hours on the internet. So the answer is 35. Oh, one more. Let's hope we do this quickly. So it has a minimum point at 3.5, maximum point is find the value of C. I say C is the midpoint, so we add our two maximum Y values and divide by 2. So it's 17 plus 5 divided by 2. So that's 22 divided by 2, which is 11. So C is 11. Show that B is pi over 6. Well, we can see that our full cycle takes 12 units to do. Normally it would take 2 pi, so it's 2 pi over 12 gives pi over 6. Find the value of A. Okay, A is our amplitude. Now note here, this is a sine curve. Normally a sine curve goes up, down, and up, but ours goes down, then up, then down. So it means that we know this value here has to be negative, and we find that value by finding this distance here, or halfway in between the full amount. We just worked out that, so we know our maximum is at 17. So the maximum is 17, the minimum is at 5. So it's 17, subtract 5 and divide that by 2. So it's 12 over 2, which is 6, but we know it's negative, so our value is negative 6. The graph G is obtained by translation of K. The maximum point of the graph has coordinates 11.517. So 11.517. And this was 917. So we've moved to the right by 2.5 units. So the value of K is 2.5 because the translation is given it as the direction that goes. So the K tells us the horizontal movement. It's in a positive direction. It's going to the right. So the value is 2.5. So K is 2.5. I know lots of you thought it was negative 2.5 because you're getting confused with the format it's going to be in when we actually talk about it now. So GX is going to be, so we've established our A's. So up here you were thinking it's, anyway. So our value of A is negative 6. It's the sine. It's pi over 6, but we are, what did I put the bracket there? X minus 2.5 because we've shifted. Sorry, I don't know why I put a bracket there. And close up bracket, and then we're plus 11. So this was from our amplitude, this was from our shift, this was from our value affecting the period, and this was our value of C. There we go, that's the end of the exam.